Hi everyone, my name is Etridu and I'm welcoming back to my channel. Today I'm here with
Hannah Alagbe.
Give Me the Name Again.
Hannah Alagbe, yes, Hannah.
Alright, yeah, that's what's up. So we are bringing you another beautiful and an exciting content. So bro, be expecting more of this. I ain't kidding. And no cap when it comes to this particular channel. What we're gonna do is to review amazing and extraordinary movies, bro. Not just any movie, bro. Not just movie with 2.5, 1.2, 1.3 ratings, bro. I mean top-notch movies. Am I right or right?
You're right.
Sharp. So talk to them. What are we doing today?
So we are reviewing this movie with the title Itaewon Class. It's a Korean series that was produced in 2020.
Ooh, bro, I can't wait if I'm being honest. Now, this particular movie got 8.2 from IMDb ratings, bro. How often does that happen? And talking of my drama list, it got a rating of 8.4. Bro, that rating is even bigger than somebody's GP, if I'm being honest with you. 8.4 rating, bro. 8.4. Like, I ain't kidding. 8.4. Alright, so let's proceed by giving a brief synopsis about this particular movie. I know there's a possibility a whole lot of you wonderful people haven't seen this movie yet, but let me tell you one thing. If you've not seen this beautiful movie, bro, do well to check it out. Do well to check it out. For the last time, do well to check it out. You feel me? Alright, let's go. Something brief, anything brief, yeah.
So this movie is about a young boy who had his own value to life and wasn't more like from a middle class family.
Okay.
And the dad was working with a very big company who the company is into food production. So in fact, the dad played a pivotal role in the company's growth. Most of the products of the company on the market were ideas developed by the dad. So the dad had a special place in the company. However, the character of this boy isn't well understood and accepted by almost everybody around him, which later led to the death of the dad. You won't imagine that even after the dad going to prison, he was arrested the day the dad was being buried. The perpetrators of the dad's death were the same people who put him behind bars after killing the dad. Now, this guy is filled with resentment and bitterness. But guess what? There's this twist of, how do you call it? Twist of plot.
Okay, a turning point or something.
Instead of making this resentment and bitterness and hurt, all of these negative emotions to want him to avenge the dad's death, it actually motivated him to challenge the very company that the dad worked for and the same people who killed the dad and put him behind bars. Let's see. In fact, let's dig into this movie and talk more about it.
Let me add something small to it. So from the other end, that is the company she made mention of. Now the person who was handling that company is by the name. Okay, they called him Chairman. That was the character name or description, Chairman. So now
I think Chairman Jang.
Chairman Jang, yes. Chairman Jang, yeah. So to give you a little background story, Chairman Jang started this particular company on the basis of premise that he came from a poor family, whereby the mere mention of food was just a rumor.
Oh, okay, so that's why you got the line, bro. Okay, I had used that, I remember. Yes. So actually, you only hear food. You don't actually get to see or experience or even have a taste of food. You only hear of.
Yeah. So sometimes I've been fortunate enough when a neighbor is cooking and you get the opportunity to smell the aroma of the food.
Yes, you are very fortunate. So yeah,
Chairman Jang purposely or basically established this particular company with the sole motive of feeding his family. Sorry. When there was a particular time you went to pick food from the trash can and the sister, suffered from consuming that particular product. So everything I made mention of was a motivating factor for Chairman Jang to start that company to an extent of, going global, for the company to be listed on the stock exchange and other stuff. Bro, I told you this is nothing but a top-notch movie. So follow us, and let's digest this beautifully. All right, so Hannah, talking of the entire story, you understand, movies or TV series, there's always this story behind it. So I believe you've watched the entire episodes. I
Yes,
think
I
16 of
have.
them or so.
I
Yeah.
have.
So what do you think about the story in general?
Dinner, I think they did well to have compressed everything to just 16 episodes. I think each episode is a little over 1 hour.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they did really well to have developed this whole story. The story development was also coherent.
Yes.
You could it built up. It wasn't something that just moved from one scenario and then moved on to. So I think they did well with that. And then the characters, it didn't really have
A
so
lot of
much
characters. Yeah.
characters that you get you lose track of who is who.
Yeah.
The characters, the casting was precise. It wasn't something elaborate. So I think
Oh yeah,
they
that's
really
cool.
did
That's
well with
cool. They
that.
did well. Well, I also believe it's a great story. If I'm being honest with you,
It
as you made
is.
mention previously, they follow this beautiful chronological pattern. So if you start watching, it becomes a little addictive because you will always be, expecting to know what happens in the
Happens
next
next,
episode.
yes.
Yep. And as you made mention of the characters, that's very true. If I'm being honest with you, the limited number of characters made it very beautiful and exciting because you could realize that every character had a beautiful story to tell.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's one beautiful thing when it comes to a television series as such with a limited number of characters. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's something good.
And the
That's something good.
subtitle too, I think they did well with the
Yeah,
subtitle.
yeah.
Sometimes they have to use their own slang.
Yeah.
They do well to like break it down and tell the usage of that slang. So I think
true.
they also did well with the subtitle bit.
Yeah, and I realized something about the subtitles. When I watched this particular movie up to episode 9 or 10, I was like, are they scared of the word I love you? Bro,
Well, no, no. You know
realized
what?
it?
You know what? You see, I think it's typical of maybe. Uh, well, the expression of "I love you" is mostly and usually expressed in "I like you," and
Good.
I think that's just Korea. Korea
Good.
seldom say "I love you." In all the K dramas, you not read or see any of them
Somebody-
saying "I love you." It's "I like you."
I
Try
guess-
your.
I guess
That's how they
that's
say
it.
it. Try your.
Yeah,
Try
yeah,
your.
yeah.
I like you. So, and I also think they may actually be saying I love you.
Good.
But for the benefit of those non-Korean speaking people to
Yeah.
understand, the best way to express that is I like you. I'm just assuming I
Don't you
can't.
understand the word love? There's a
Maybe they are thinking abusing the phrase, so they just have
Because,
to
like,
generalize it.
There's this difference between likeness and love. So they need to differentiate it properly.
Maybe you end up loving someone after you have liked the person. So let's start from like.
But you know one funny thing, I think episode 16 or so, either 15 or 16, that was when one of the characters named Yisu used the word love.
I love you.
Yes, and I was like,
Then
so
that's
how are
the
they
first
using
time
it now?
I've actually seen the Korean expressing
Yeah.
like emotions and that. They normally say
They
I
normally
like
say,
you.
I like you.
I like you.
Now, what
Try
do you-
your. Yeah.
What's the word?
Try your.
Hey.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Koreans are
Try
stealing
your.
our
Yes.
citizens, so...
Maybe
Wow,
I should
wow.
change my name to. I should give myself a Korean name. And I love their naming. I love their naming system. Like how they name is nice. They have clans, so
Okay.
your surname determines the clan you come from, and
Okay.
it's nice. The culture is beautiful. I also love the fact that in all their movies they try to portray their culture.
Yes, that's one beautiful thing about it.
I wish other countries can also try to sell out their culture
Yeah.
in their arts industry.
Honestly speaking, I wish Africa as a whole starts telling our stories or, inculcating our cultures more into our movies.
I think the Nollywood
normally-
is practicing that.
Yes, Nollywood
Nollywood
is
is
doing
practicing
something
that. And sometimes you also see that they try to make it universal, like they generalize their is it certain
Okay.
to suit this Western world and that of Africa. Except for few ones that really tells the certain is totally fully African.
Okay.
It's once in about Korean. The only time you hear them make mention of this Western country is maybe for education.
Very true.
Aside that, all other thing is within the country. They have this Jeju Island. You hear them say they are going to Jeju Island. They are going to is it Icheon some of the
familiar with
it's
them.
those kind of remote interlands within their country. So you don't hear them say they are going to sound like the Maldives or those ones for.
I'm going to Dubai.
They have their own,
Wow.
how do you say it? Amusements,
Or tourist sites,
recreational
facility.
facilities for
But
the amusement.
from a broader perspective, that is also a beautiful way of building an economy, if I should be honest with you. Instead of packing the money to spend in a foreign land, everything stays within Korea. So it ends up strengthening the economy in one way or the other. And from a broader perspective, you wouldn't have to even convert your money into dollar or
That
foreign currency.
and
Just for other
what?
purposes. So it
Like,
strengthens the economy.
is it food,
Tell me.
technology?
Tell me more.
In fact, even in the educational system, everything is done in the Korean
Wow.
culture, the language, and you don't see them. I don't even know how to express myself. Their noodles, everything is locally manufactured. They don't just import anything. And you see all these gadgets they use, none is scripted. It doesn't have any brand. So this tells you that it's indigenous. It's actually manufactured in the country. So this talks about this Western country outsourcing these gadgets. It's real. They only assemble them. I want to believe that. Yes, I think it is. So they assemble them there. Everything is indigenously produced, and I think it's good. It helps. That's why is it their vehicles, mobile phones? If not that movie, then this other movie I watched, they have this Silflix.
Okay.
Instead of Netflix, they're talking about an app to watch movies. Their own
movie streaming platform as well.
In fact, Korea, I give it to them.
We have to visit Korea one.
We should also have Galiflix.
We can even have.
We can have Galiflix.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So talking of the movie Itaewon Class, can you describe your favorite scene? Trust me, honestly speaking, they had a whole lot of beautiful scenes, bro. Like I was so impressed from the beginning.
Okay, let me talk about my favorite character.
Favorite character. Okay.
My favorite character. What's her name? Is Iso.
And the manager. Oh, okay. The manager.
The manager at Dambam.
Yeah.
She's my favorite character. I love her resilience. Like, this girl just goes for what she wants, no matter what anybody thinks or feel about it. Yeah, she had to ditch her academics to go after her dreams. Even with the fact that the mom explained what she went through, her marriage and everything, trying to dissuade her from pursuing her crush. Is that how I term it? Because she saw this guy, Park Soroyi,
the owner of Dambam.
The owner of Dambam.
Yeah.
I mean, the first character I described, who lost the dad and was put behind bars. Yeah. So when he got out of prison, he decided to pursue his dream. He gave himself 15 years to attain the status of Chairman Jang's company.
Yeah.
So when he got out of prison, he went into the Itaewon. It's a community. So he went there to start all over, to start life afresh, because he couldn't complete college. I think he was still in secondary school when he lost the dad.
Yeah, that's true.
So he couldn't even continue. And his actual ambition was to be a police officer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that dream was truncated because he had been to prison. An ex-convict cannot be a law enforcer. So he just had to channel his energy and his resentment into challenging the company of Chairman Jang. So without much exposure, he didn't really understand how the social media works and everything.
Yeah.
He was just running more like a choba, let's put it that way. That's how he started. Instead of, and Chairman Jang himself has a big restaurant, has a big factory producing this fast food globally. Yeah. So how can a choba compete with such, just look at that. But this guy had a focus. He gave himself 15 years. I just don't know how. I'm sure he, in his mind, was just going like, I don't know how, but I just know. This is my focus. I want to achieve it. Then came in Yuso. Yuso was a secondary school leaver who had just gained admission to university. Yeah. But she was not really bothered about going to university. She was just enjoying herself. And she was more like an influencer because she has so much followers on social media. So anytime she goes out, she goes to a nice eatery, nice place, she just takes pictures without any solicitation. Yeah. She just uploads them, gives them good review, and other people, her followers just And I mean, she's a no-nonsense girl.
And she created a beautiful niche for herself.
Yes, she's a very, very no-nonsense girl. I mean, people will say she has an attitude. Let's put it that way. She knows her words, she knows her stuff. So she has this attitude attached to her that many people also misunderstood and misinterpreted that part of her. But that didn't stop her. They went out to eat, but there's this law in Korea that doesn't allow underage to enter a bar or to drink, especially. Apparently, someone snitched on Dambam. Dambam was shut for about 3 months or so.
For about 3 months.
Their license for operation was seized. So these two people, those underage students who went to patronize Dambam felt sorry for him because someone was struggling to, stay afloat in the business and then having to cease operation for about 3 to 6 months. So they felt really sorry. They decided to pay him back in a nicer way.
But to cut in, there's one thing there that Park Seo-ye did that I really admire so much. When he got to the police station, he could have easily been free from that particular predicament. But he stood to his grounds and principles and decided to accept that punishment. But that was the time Chairman Yang's son came around, who is by the name Gwen-won or something.
Gwen-won.
Yeah, he was ready to, let him go free, regardless of that friction happening between them. But Park was like, I made this mistake and I have to pay for it. So I was asking myself, how many people in society are willing to, stand on their grounds and accept a punishment of that nature? It was something I really admired coming from Park Seo-ye.
Park Seo-ye has value.
Yeah.
He really held on to his values. He didn't bend anything for his value. And I think that has been the main reason for his predicament.
That's it.
It all started from secondary school when he transferred to a new school. Then he saw someone being bullied, just like this. We saw someone being bullied and decided to, make it a viral issue. So Park Seo-ye saw someone being bullied by Chairman Jang's son, who he was in the same school with. So that didn't sit well with him and went to the defense of that boy. That was the first time. The second time again, when he tried to defend the boy, I think he got angered by Guwon.
Yeah,
so he hit Guwon. And that was it. So after he hit Guwon, they were called to the principal's office and their parents invited. So you can imagine Park Seo-ye's father being an employee of Chairman Jang.
Oh.
So Park Seo-ye was asked to apologize to Chairman Jang's son to go on his knees. Well, and that was how I started falling in love with him. He actually refused.
But at that very moment, when I looked at Mr. Park, I could see nothing but a proud father. You understand?
Yeah.
Even though he knew it was going to cost him his career.
Yeah, and you know what?
He was very
Chairman
proud of
Jang
his son.
actually threatened Park Seo-ye's father that is he going to stand there and look at his son, disrespect him? I was like, well, his son is a man of, that's where I felt like, oh God. I mean, every parent should train up her children in that manner. You should learn to teach your children to stand up for themselves.
Build some solid principles in them.
I mean, it's like, my son is old enough to take up responsibilities.
And he has chosen his
he has chosen to, he sees what is right and wrong, and he wants to, so I'll stand by my son. And then the chairman asked him, at the expense of your job,
bro.
He was like, if it will cost me my job, then yes, I'm standing by my son to the very end. And I'm like, okay, that's your choice. And that's how the dad lost the job. The dad also decided to use his little service to open up his own restaurant. Since most of the ideas, the food on the market by Chairman Jang's company were all his ideas, he's already a good cook, so he could manage himself.
Oh. But if not for the fact that Gwen-won knocked him down with a vehicle, trust me, Mr. Park would have easily succeeded in the restaurant business because the man knew what he was doing. And all the success of Chairman Jang's company was attributed to Mr. Park.
Yep.
And trust me, something solid would have easily come out from that company.
Eventually, Park Seo-ye got to know that it was him who killed the dad, and they were trying to frame it on their gardener. And that's how I got aggressive and attacked them. What else you want from me? You got me expelled from school. You killed my dad and you didn't have the decency to own up. So that was the anger he had after beating him. They now had to lock him up behind bars. After the very day they killed the dad. No, that was so brutal. How inhumane could they have been? No, that was so brutal.
That's just crazy.
Very, very
That's just
brutal.
crazy. You
So
know, the story keeps going on.
going on.
You know, one thing is Chairman Jang had everybody, bowing before him, like everybody showing this fear upon meeting him. But Park Seroyi was always himself. You can't bring a determined
And
soul down.
he was never rude.
Yes.
He was never rude on all the interactions. See, he still went ahead to be bowing to him, but he, at a point, Park Seroyi had to ask, what is in this kneeling down to people? But eventually, he had to kneel to Chairman Jang, and I think that's the scene, my favorite scene in the movie. It was really sad.
Okay.
It pained me, but I like the fact that Chairman Jang didn't expect him to yield at that point. All the number of times Chairman Jang had requested for him to kneel down to, grant his wishes. It was like, then it's never going to do it. But at that particular point, he just had to. And Chairman Jang didn't really expect it. He just took him, he was taken aback. And whatever reaction he had expected. I mean, if he had known Park Seroyi was going to yield at that time, maybe he would have really prepared himself emotionally and psychologically to accept it. Yeah. But he realized that even after Park Seroyi knelt to him, it was still not fulfilled. Because it was unprecedented.
But there was also nothing special about that kneeling.
You get it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't really meet his expectations.
Because
he expected him to rebel.
Yeah.
As he always does.
Yeah. But dude only went down on his knees just for the sake of Yusu, who had been kidnapped by Gwenwon at that time.
Who was in danger.
So he was only doing that to save the life of a different party. And that's one beautiful thing about the character trait of Park Seroyi. Trust me, even though he's quite introvert,
strong-headed,
he has this big heart for the people around him. And he's always willing to sacrifice himself for them. Yes. And that's one beautiful character trait.
He always, as a businessman, everybody have his own business style. Style of transacting business. He believes in the people. He believes in people than money, than profits. Yeah. He believes in doing right by the people he worked with. Exactly. Than, unlike Chairman Jang, who was always hot for profits. Yes, I think that poverty he experienced while growing up really ate into his. I don't
know. Sometimes it's just our own character trait. Because Park Seroyi also went through that same hardship. But guess what? He was still kind-hearted.
He actually picked positive traits from energy. From whatever he went through. I think he had every right to be bitter. And out of bitterness, hate the man. It was a good hate. He hated the man though, but not to wish him evil. He hated him, and the man became his motivation to actually succeed in life. Throughout his how many years stay in prison, he read every book published by the man. Back to back. He read all the books produced by the man. He read everything. He knew the business style of the man. It was actually his motivation.
Yeah.
But unlike some of us, some people dwell on the pain and everything and then become a shadow of themselves. That's something I really like about Park Seroyi. Yeah. He actually draws energy and inspiration from the negative things that happened to him. And that was a good thing for me.
I'm talking of favorite characters. I think you've said a lot about Park Seroyi and his counterpart, Yisu.
Yep.
But another character I really admired so much was the character Muin, the trans. Honestly speaking, anytime I see that character on screen, I get excited. I didn't really understand
I think in real life, he's a guy.
Yeah.
But the makeup suits him. So,
seriously?
Is it hair or him? How do I even address him?
That character.
The makeup was just perfect.
Perfect.
Especially after he transgender. God, I'm a girl. I fell in love with her.
But just imagine, she was looking beautiful than most of the female
characters. I tell you, the makeup and everything.
Who is this person?
In fact, the movie is just something you should see.
It's just amazing.
You should see. You see that then there's this character Talking about the fall of the story,
Okay.
there's this character who started well. I even thought was going to be the shoulder Park So-yu was going to lean on to
Yeah.
achieve his dream.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I didn't even know her role again in the movie.
Yeah, I think you're talking of Soya. Yeah.
I didn't understand her role again. She started so well.
Yeah.
Was standing by Park So-yu. Then all of a sudden, I didn't see her in action again. It felt like she betrayed Park So-yu. And you know what even annoyed me? You know, there was something about Park So-yu I didn't really understand. How good can you be? You are being good. You have seen someone, you know, being on the enemy side and still being nice to the person. I'm not saying you should have been hostile, but at least you should try and, you know, withhold some information from her.
But he was still letting
But he
everything
kept
out.
on letting out. Oh, that guy was so good.
Yeah, you know, from the onset, yes, as you made mention previously, I thought that particular character was going to carry a whole lot of stuff on the shoulders, but the character flawed a little upon the appearance or presence of Yusu.
Yusu, yeah.
But it seems all the attention and the story was somehow centered on Yusu when she arrived, because it made that character a little redundant.
Maybe you know, it became more like a competition between she and Yusu.
Definitely, they were competing.
They were competing for the same person, but you know, at the beginning, Park So-yu liked Soha, but Yusu also had an aim.
Yeah.
Aside blowing the bomb,
to win this man for myself.
Yes. So, and she did practically everything to help Park So-yu attain his ambitions.
Yes.
So, what then was the role of Soha? What was her role? Maybe she played a major role in the downfall of Chairman Jiang's company, but it still didn't have major effect.
Okay. She also had a part to play in the success of Park So-yu.
I don't see that.
Yeah, not all that massive, but somehow she had a part to play. You know, one beautiful thing, and she was the only lady known and really admired by Park So-yu. So there was a time in prison or something when Park So-yu, right after prison, when Park So-yu wanted to build a beautiful relationship with her, she made it obvious that she's a successful man. So Park should do.
And so that's what even got me. That even got me. So because the guy was struggling, at least you should have given. Well, maybe she was trying to stay loyal to her company.
You've forgotten about your agenda. Like that thing has been happening on a daily basis. Trust me. You will ask most men who have made it today, and it all boils down to the fact that their lady back then left them because they had no money. You understand? Today that they are very comfortable, they are willing to come back, but it's not happening.
I don't want to agree with him, but that role played by Soha telling Park So-yu that if he didn't make it, she was not going to be with him. I think that was so off. That was so demoralizing. So you won't want to have, if another lady had come into the picture and helped him to attain his dreams, you expect him to it took a while for Park So-yu to fall in love with Yuso. But again, that's why I'm still going back to the fact that I don't know the role of Soha. Her role just got missing in the whole.
I want to get your indulgence on something. I know Yusu is one of your favorite characters.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget what you are criticizing Yusu on. No, sorry, what you are criticizing Soa on. Yusu did the same thing. Remember Gwen Won's brother? You understand? When they were working for Dambam, yes, it got to a time.
So maybe let's just agree that maybe. So now let's settle this argument now. Let's settle the argument. So the other gender. If ever a lady tells you should make it, just know that the lady doesn't like it. Let's just agree that the lady doesn't like it that much. Want to stay with you? Let's just agree, because it happens that Yuso didn't like her buddy who stuck by her through it all. She didn't actually. She liked him as a friend, but not as someone who would have wanted to, spend the rest of her life with. Maybe that's why she gave him that condition that she should try and become the heir to the father's company. So I think that was also a motivation to them, and I think that was the same thing Soha also did to Park So-yu. Yeah. So maybe It could be two ways. Maybe a motivation, or that maybe they didn't love you enough to want to be with you. That's why they gave you that hard condition to motivate you. But even with that, if they had really succeeded based on that and they had other people in their lives, I'm not sure they were still going to end up with them despite the conditions they gave them.
It's 50-50. 50-50.
You sure?
Yeah, bringing it to a real life setting, it normally happens. And it's always a 50-50 affair. You have a handful of men going back to the same person. Other men will also ignore them. That is when you hear women saying, after all what I did for him, he left me for another lady. Realistically, we can just position this in a real life story or event. Oh, bro, it has been beautiful. It has been exciting. As I made mention previously, if you've not seen this particular movie, do want to check it out. But girl, I really love your analysis. You have everything under control, and that's what's up. That's what's up. Now, one more question. Between Yisu and Soa, who should Park Serui have gone for? Be honest.
I'm for Yisu. Yes,
Hey, you're not for that girl.
I love her energy.
Okay.
I like people who are determined and are very, very decisive. Her mom tried dissuading her from falling in love, go to school. Why would you drop out of school because of a mom? Because of a chopper. That was the mom's description. Because of a chopper. But eventually the mom realized that, the guy was really making it. They made it and it was so beautiful. Their efforts actually paid off. It's paid off.
The story ended so beautifully. Everybody got what they deserve. Regardless of the fact that when one who is the first son of Chairman Jang had been to prison, he went back to prison again for kidnapping and attempted murder. So he got what he deserved.
So Gowon came out of prison and became worse.
Yeah.
He came out of prison and became worse to the extent that he didn't even care about the dad's health condition again. So if the father had trained him well, he would have known that going to prison and coming out was actually to help him become better.
Yeah, to rebuild you, repair you, something of the sort, yeah.
But there's this character we've never talked about.
Which one?
The character who was being bullied by Gowon and he saved. This guy turned out to be like a top-notch investor.
His financial advisor.
Yeah.
Dude was very smart.
He was a key contributor to Park Serio's success in business.
But one beautiful thing is, regardless of his educational background, it was very obvious that Yisu was a top match to that guy. You understand? Because normally the kind of business advice, when we're trying to take over Chairman Jang's company, most of the proposals, even Yisu was the one coming out with them, and Yisu could easily come out with the pros and cons. So that was a clear indication that you don't necessarily have to receive education before you can build a company from scratch. I guess if you're not careful, we end up, analyzing.
In fact, we just saying the whole storyline
for more than 24 hours. But bro, still go check it out. Because trust me, you're definitely going to love this.
Itaewon Class. As they say,
You get it.
Itaewon Class.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we just analyzed in detail the movie Itaewon Class. It is still on Netflix, released in the year 2022. Do want to check it out, and you're definitely going to love it. Once again, my name is Esredu, and it has been exciting doing this with the incredible
Hannah Alagbe.
That's what's up. Alright, so if you love the content we do create, or if you love what we do, and you genuinely want to be part of this beautiful family, do want to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and keep your comments coming. Peace.